Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so hi. If you're watching this, thank you so much for being here and I hope you enjoy. I made this little tutorial for my younger cousin who's just getting into special effects. We got her some special effects products for Christmas and I just thought I'd do a little tutorial for her so she can follow it step by step, and I just thought, why not upload it to YouTube? It's really kind of back to basics, just bruises and some cuts with nose and scar wax, which is great for beginners if you're just starting out or if you don't want to spend loads of money on these expensive materials. Then you know you can do this, you can create some really effective stuff, have some fun. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the video. If you do, like and subscribe. All the products will be listed down below in the description box, and enjoy. So we're going to start off with all the things that we need to create the bruises and cuts that I'm going to show you. So some sponges, you can use kitchen sponges, the black stipple sponge that came in your kit, and a makeup sponge. And then we want some disinfectant spray. I'm using alcohol disinfectant spray, but you can just use some multi-surface antibacterial spray. Some kitchen roll, some translucent powder or talcum powder, isopropyl alcohol or surgical spirit that you can get from Boots, cream paints, which is the ben-nye bruise-wheel that's in your kit, the nose and scar wax that's in your kit, a brush, so a makeup brush. I like to use a fluffy brush so you can stipple the colour onto the skin, a palette or a plate, a spatula, lolly stick, or at a push you can use a blunt butter knife, some spirit gum that's in your kit, and some fake blood. Now we're just wiping down the side. It's really important to keep your workspace clean, to keep your model safe. I'm just wiping the skin with some alcohol just to clean the skin before applying anything. Taking your spatula, you're going to scrape a little bit of product out of each of the colours of the bruise wheel. This is just to keep your pot clean so you don't contaminate with any product that's touched your client's skin back into the pot. I like to spray all of my palettes after I've used them with some alcohol just to disinfect them, ready for the next use. Starting off with some bruises, I'm going to show you a fresh bruise and an old bruise. Now it's really important to decide what age the bruise is that you're creating so that it's accurate, and what we tend to do in the industry is get a reference image up. Try and find a real reference image, not someone else's makeup, because it's going to be more realistic and you can study it and make sure you create an accurate injury. To start with, we're going to take a little bit of the dark blue colour, and you just need a tiny bit because we want to make it look like that it's sitting under the skin so it looks as natural as possible. A mistake that people make is they pile on the colour, and then you can kind of just tell that it's makeup. So start really thin because we can always build it up. Using soft stippling motions, you're going to pat the colour onto the skin, looking at your reference picture, but also bruises are not perfectly round. They are quite unusually shaped and irregular. Make sure you think about what caused the bruise. This is getting a bit more complex now, but if they have been hit with something, the shape of the object will most likely make the shape of the bruise. Blend out the colour using your finger or the sponge. As you can see, I'm doing both until you're happy with how it looks. Now we're going in with the dark red colour, which transfers onto the skin as a dark pink. New bruises don't tend to have any yellow or green in them, so it's really important to focus on the reds, blues and purples when creating fresh bruises. Now we're going in with the darkest purple shade, and we are going to just darken up some of the edges where the bruise is deeper. I'm now going in with a lighter shade of blue. You can use the blue that's in your colour wheel and just add a little bit of Surgical Spirit to lighten it. I'm adding some of the dark blue and the dark purple to the stipple sponge that you have in your kit using a brush. And this is to create the effect of capillaries and broken capillaries in the bruise. I'm then just blending it out with the sponge and my finger until I'm happy with how it looks. Now I'm going to show you how to create a slightly older bruise which has different colours within it. This is due to the healing process. What I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning my brush with some alcohol or Surgical Spirit just to get all of the colours off so they don't mix with the new colours. I'm then going into the green shade that's in your bruise-wheel palette and I'm lightly stippling it onto the skin. I've then gone in with some of the pinky purple shade and laid that on top of the green that we've already put onto the skin. Remember just to use a little bit still and just really blend it out so it looks like it's really coming through from underneath the skin. That's what's going to make it look really realistic. I've added some dark spots using the blue and the dark purple, and it creates the kind of browny tone that you see in old bruises. Like with the new bruise, we are going in with the black stipple sponge and some blue and dark purple, and we're just going to create those broken capillaries and then blend it out until we're happy. I'm now going to show you how to fix a bruise when you add too much colour and it just looks too thick and like makeup. You're going to spray your brush or dip it in some alcohol or surgical spirit, and you're just going to make sure that there's no product on the brush. Wet it again with alcohol and then slowly blend out the edges, taking off some of that product. You're going to then spray wherever the bruise is with the alcohol, and then you're going to get some kitchen roll and you're going to place it on top and pat it to soak up some of the excess product. Take off as much as you think that you need and blend it out with your fingers or a brush just to get any of that extra colour off that you don't want on there, and then again pat it with some kitchen roll. You might have to go in again with some more colours, some different colours if you remove too much, but it's better to remove too much and go in again than to have too much product on the skin. Then you're going to go in as normal with your different colours, building it up in different areas to create some texture and some visual dimensions. Go in with your stipple sponge, add some capillaries. You're then going to go in with your translucent powder and set it just to make sure that it doesn't budge, because we are using cream products. I forgot to mention this on the others, but set your bruises after each one. I'm now going to show you how to create a cut using the nose and scar wax that's in the kit. This is great for creating small cuts and bullet wounds, scrapes that don't need to be worn for a huge amount of time. If you wanted something that needed to be worn all day, say if you were on a film, you would make prosthetic pieces to help with continuity, so it looks the same and it stays on and it doesn't go anywhere. So I'm just going to scrape a little bit out of my pot just so we're not double dipping and contaminating the product that's in your kit, just to keep everything clean. You don't need a lot of this stuff because we want to make sure that it is as close to the skin as possible and it's blended out, so it doesn't stick up too much, because that's what makes things look fake, and we want it to look as real and realistic as possible. We're going to take the spirit gum and apply it to wherever you want to create your injury. What we're going to do is we're going to tap it with our finger until it starts to become really tacky. It is activated by touch, so you'll have to do this every time that you use it. We're going to take our nose and scar wax and we're going to roll it in between our fingers until we make a kind of small sausage, and we're just going to press it into where we've applied the spirit gum. You can roll the nose and scar wax into whatever shape you need for your injury. So if you're doing a bullet wound, then you'd make a little ball, and you can use a few pieces to kind of create the shape of whatever injury that you are looking at. We're going to take your metal spatula and you're gonna blend out the edges into the skin. Now, don't apply too much pressure, and slow and steady wins the race. Your spatula might get sticky due to all the product you're scraping off, and what you can do to fix that is you can just put a tiny little bit of Vaseline on the edge of your spatula or straight onto the nose and scar wax, and it will just help not stick to the spatula whilst you're blending out the edges. This is why I said to pick up a little bit of product, because you can always build on top of it, but we want to try and get those edges as thin as possible. We don't want it to stick out too much because it's just gonna look fake. It's not gonna look like it's part of your body. It will take a little bit of practice and you're not going to get it first time, so please be patient, keep trying, keep on working at it. The more you work with nose and scar wax, you kind of learn how to work with it and what to do to make it easier to work with. If you need to use your fingers, the same as the Vaseline on the spatula, you can just wipe a little bit of Vaseline over your fingers just so you can touch it and it doesn't stick to your finger and lift up the product that you've placed down and you've worked into the skin. Once you're happy with how the product's sitting and the shape of your injury and the edges are blended really well, you can set it with a bit of translucent powder now. But what you're going to do is you're going to take either, if you've got a pointed ended spatula like myself, or if you've got a cuticle pusher with a point on, or a pin, a sewing pin or a safety pin, you're going to draw down the middle to cut into the nose and scar wax to create, in this case, the cut on my finger, and you can pry open the edges slightly to make it a bit wider if you want to. If you're working on a bigger injury, then you would build up the edges with the nose and scar wax, and you can leave the center almost bare, and then color the inside of it. And if you're doing a bullet wound, you'd kind of scrape out the middle of the nose and scar wax to create that indentation in the skin. As you can see, when I cut through the end, it picked up some of the product, so I'm just going back in with some nose and scar wax, reapplying some spirit gum if I needed to, and I'm just adding a little bit more product onto the ends to make those tapered and pointed, and then reblending it into the skin so the edges are nice and smooth. Keep adding as you need, blending as you go, and if you need to, you can go back a stage, remove some, add some more, fix the shape and reblend the edges. We're going to powder the cut now just to seal everything in, which gets rid of the sticky residue and keeps everything held in place, ready for colouring. Then we're going to get the Ben-nye colour wheel and we're going to go in with the burgundy purpley shade, and you're gonna get a thin detail brush, and you're gonna apply this colour to where the deepest part of the wound would be. This is to create depth and dimension, because the deeper the cut, the darker the blood. I'm then going in with a lighter red shade. You could always use a light red lipstick to fill in the rest of the cut. I'm thinning the red colour slightly using alcohol and applying it to the outside of the wound to create the illusion of irritation. I'm adding a bit of yellow right on the edges of the cut. It's very common to find this on the edges of cuts and scabs because it's where the plasma's dried. I'm then going to take some Ben-nye fresh-scab and some congealed blood and decanter some of that onto my mixing palette, again so we don't cross-contaminate. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the fresh-scab and place that right in the middle of the cut. I'm going to place some blood on the outside of the cut as well. Just think about if you've cut yourself before. Obviously it transfers very easily and there's going to be a lot of blood coming out of this cut. We are going to go on to add some more liquid blood, which obviously moves more and will drip down the hand with movement. And here I'm just adding the liquid blood, and I'm just letting it run down my hand. I'm moving my finger and kind of just seeing where the blood goes. Make sure you clean up all of your equipment using either the alcohol or some soap for the brushes and sponges. I like to spray my cream palettes with isopropyl alcohol just to kill any bacteria before I put them back into my kit bag, so they're clean whenever I next use them. I also use some anti-disinfectant on the surface that I was working on, just to make sure it's all clean and tidy.